Hello everyone, how are you guys? Are you able to hear me? Hello everyone. All right, just give me one moment and let this set up. All right, I'll put this here. Okay, how's the sound? Are you able to hear me well, guys? Welcome everybody. So we have Harish, Fazi, Prasanna, Vikram, Raghuram, Robin, Akila. Hey, great. Uh, if you guys don't mind, just please write from which city you are joining, if that's okay. So while you do that, quickly in this particular session, we are going to do this for 45 minutes. And in the 45 minutes, we are going to talk about different aspects of EC2 pricing. There are a lot of new announcements which have happened, and idea is to try and make sure that we clarify all the doubts which people might have, right? It's very confusing at times. So uh, that's why I thought of choosing this topic, and it could be interactive. We'll ask questions, and you can also answer, right? So we can do that way, and of course I'll try to answer your questions as well. So great, we have people from Hyderabad, Bangalore, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, Pune again. Prasanna is saying, hi, it's my first online session. I'm from Bangalore. Okay, great. All right, good, great. So we'll just get started. And if I may request you guys, please do share the URL of this session on your LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook, whatever you like. Please do that and let your friends know about this. Maybe they can also join. Okay, we have a friend from Bahrain as well. Okay, great. So, guys, I hope this is clearly audible. And now let's move forward. So, sometime back, uh, when I say sometime back, it's like just a week back or so. We read about this new thing called on-demand reservation from AWS. So sometimes, just the terminologies might go a bit confusing. Earlier, we had only normal reservation, and now we got this on-demand reservation as well. So on-demand and reservation were two different things as such, right? But then now it has come together. So let's understand what's on-demand reservation. Uh, yeah, that's the agenda is what I'm showing today. Uh, it's being shown there. So as you guys know that in case of on-demand instances, you do not have any guarantee that your instances will continue to run always, right? It depends that it depends on the fact that if you are able to launch the instance from the overall Amazon's fleet, your instance would be available and it would be running. So what I'm trying to say is, let's say on a particular fine day, taking a very simple example, on a particular fine day, you go ahead and you try to launch and let's say M4 16x large instance, right? So that's what you're trying to launch. Now it's possible that that particular capacity is not available, and if that is the case, you will get an error. That error is called IC, right? Insufficient capacity error. So because that type of capacity is not available in the region and the availability zone which you chose to launch your instance would not come up. Now, this could be a bad situation for people, right? For businesses, it could be really difficult at times. So that's why what they do is what they do is uh, people go ahead and try to do reservation, right? When we reserve, we get the capacity reserved for us. So that means if I have M416X large reserved for 1 year, I can go ahead and launch the instance any number of times in a year, or I can have one instance running for the full year, and surely there won't be any interruption. Now that is good, but this type of capacity guarantee, if you want, you need to have you need to reserve the instance for 1 year, which is kind of a commitment for 1 year, right? It's a comparatively longer commitment. Now it happens at times that people do want guarantee of capacity, that yes, I would be able to launch the instance, but probably the duration which they want is not full. It's not full 1 year, right? So I've talked about this in some of the earlier videos where I've explained that you also have scheduled reservation. I've not written it here in the slide if you see, but you also have got scheduled reservation. What is scheduled reservation? But scheduled reservation is useful to you when you know the schedule, that when you want to reserve. If you know that you would need the instance 5 hours every day, or if you know that you would need the instance for 20 hours per week, right? And you know from what time to what time you need the instance, then you can go for scheduled reservation. But how about the case that your boss tells you that we have to, he tells you today morning that we have to go ahead and run a POC for next 7 days probably, right? Just an example, next 7 days, and we would want, that this is the configuration, and you have to launch x number of a particular family instances. Go ahead and launch it and do this thing. Now you would not want that, and it might involve that during this POC you will start your instances, you will stop your instances, right? You might have to delete it and recreate it. You will do such things, right? Now you would not want to be in a situation that uh, you have been running particular M416X large instances for 2 days, and then because of some reason you had to terminate it, and when you are trying to launch again, you just hit an error that you cannot launch it anymore. So, in order to solve such short demand capacity reservation needs, AWS has brought this on demand reservation thing. Now, I hope you are getting some idea. So, if I go ahead and do an on demand reservation, I can reserve the capacity. I can say, I'm reserving in North Virginia availability zone A. I'm reserving M416X large instance. How many ever number I want, let's say 4 instances. I'm reserving for 4 days, 10 days, or something like that. Or I can say, uh, you know, uh, let this reservation be on until I go ahead and finish it off, or until I go ahead and suspend that reservation. So those type of options are there. I'll try to show that to you as well in the UI. But understand that most of our times when we talk about reservation, at least in AWS terms, we also think about discounts, right? That's why we have been thinking that in order to lower the cost, you can go ahead and do reservation, right? So with on-demand reservation, you need to understand that you do not get any discounts. The charges for that duration would be the same as your on-demand pricing is. The only benefit which you are getting is that in the normal on-demand flavor, you would not get guarantee of on the capacity. But if you go ahead and do on demand reservation, you also get capacity guarantee for that much duration. Are you guys following it till now? I'll take a pause here and try to take an opinion. Please type in the chat window if you are able to understand. Yes, no, anything. All right, great. So uh, I'll quickly talk about a few points about other pricing types as well, and then I'll try to show you few things from the UI, right, as much as possible. So we have talked about, so that's your on-demand reservation. Just to summarize, you basically you are getting capacity guarantee that yes, your instances would come up, it would get launched, but the pricing would be on demand. You would not get any discount on the pricing. Okay, you're just getting the capacity guarantee. So that's your on demand reservation, which came up very recently. All right, next thing is the classic reservation. Classic reservation is not, I would not say the real term, but the way reservation used to be there. So now there are within reservation there are multiple types. I have a video where I have explained it in detail, but I'll try to call out just few important points here related to our reservation thing. So when you go ahead and do reservation, you get benefited in terms of lower cost, that means discounts, and you also get capacity guarantee. Now within reservation there are multiple types, guys, right? So when you go ahead and do reservation, if you want capacity guarantee, then you need to go for zonal reservation, where you also specify the availability zone in which you are requesting the capacity. So what happens? Uh, Let me try to show here. You go ahead and say purchase reserved instances. Let me put it here. Yep. So when you say that you want to purchase instance, you can go ahead and search that whether you want Unix, Linux, you want Windows or Windows with SQL Server, Red Hat, or which OS you want. You say what tenancy, default or dedicated. If you do not understand the tenancy, I have a wonderful video on channel which you can watch and understand the difference there. Offering class, convertible and standard. I'll just talk about convertible and standard in a while, but you can see that you have both the options available. Instance type is simple. Term 1 year, 1 year or 3 years, that part. Payment option, whether you want to pay everything in the start or slowly, or everything per month you want to pay. All those things are there. Now here is one important thing: only show offerings that reserve capacity. You see, when this is not checked, it doesn't ask you the availability zone. When you check this, it will ask you availability zone as well. What does that mean? So when you say only show offerings that reserve capacity, you have to give availability zone, and only in that availability zone, Amazon reserves the capacity for you. Okay. If you go ahead and launch your instances in other availability zone, let's say I reserve in availability zone A, but I'm launching instances in availability zone B, I would not get the capacity benefit. Also, I would not get the discount related benefit. I will be charged just like on demand. That's the problem. So, but there are, there are certain uh, customers who came and asked that, okay, we do not want capacity guarantee. All that matters to us is just the lower cost. So doesn't matter. We would go ahead and run in any availability zone in that region, just give us lower cost. So that's where this regional reservation came into picture, which I was talking to you about. So when you are searching here, if you basically do not check this, you get to see regional reservation. In case of regional reservation, important to call out, you do not get any capacity guarantee. It's not guaranteed that you will have capacity available. Only thing which is guaranteed is that you go ahead and run your instances in any availability zone within that region, and the discounts would be applied on your execution. That's the only thing which you get. So that's your regional reservation and zonal reservation. Now we need to understand, are you guys following till this point? Because next we'll talk about the interrelation between these two. Please let me know. Okay. If you have any doubts, if you're not getting, you can let me know. Also, are you able to realize, or are you able to relate if there are situations which you have faced uh, at your work or in any of your projects where you would be able to use different types of pricing? That's very important, guys. If you are working in an organization where you either plan for your own infrastructure for your product or for your project, or if you are part of an organization which is which replies to lot of RFPs, right? So typically all our different service integrator organizations, you talk about TCS, Cognizant, Wipro, Infosys, Accenture. These organizations go ahead and implement projects for different other organizations. So in the initial stage when RFP comes, basically request for proposal, at that time, in response, these guys from the SIs, they'll when they respond back, they give everything. They give the complete infrastructure diagram, they give the architecture, they talk about pricing. They also talk about, they'll have to talk about the pricing for different environments. And it becomes very very important, very very important, that uh, when you are preparing your RFP response, you understand the different types of pricing available. Because believe it or not, uh, in in corporate world, though people would look at all the good features and everything, but the first thing which anybody looks at is the price, right? So if I am getting 10 responses from different competitors, the first thing which I would see would be the price, right? And uh, of course, after looking at price, I'll go ahead and dig deeper, and I'll try to look at the other things which a particular company is offering. But so that's why, doing the pricing becomes very tricky. And if you understand all the different options which are available to you, you can go ahead and actually uh, you know use it well and give a really really competitive pricing, right? So that's why trying to stress there. Let me read a few things. Ravi is asking when AWS introduced on-demand reservation. It's in the last 10 days or so, 10 days maximum. So you can go ahead and check blog. I don't remember exact date, but it's very recently. Uh, yeah, it is automatically uploaded. Thanks, Harish, for replying there. Okay, all right. So, okay, moving on. We talked about regional reservation and zonal. So you understood that zonal gives you capacity guarantee, the regional doesn't give. Think of a scenario. I'll take a scenario to relate to, right? So let's say you have gone ahead and you have yeah. So what you have done is, in North Virginia region, you do a regional reservation, and in that regional reservation, let's say you have reserved 4 instances, M4 X large Linux uh, instances, and you have done regional reservation. Duration 1 year, term is 1 year, right? So because you have done this, you can go ahead and run uh, 4 M4X large instances in any availability zone within North Virginia region. So that's great. Now what you can do is you can also, but understand, because you have done only regional reservation, you do not get any capacity guarantee, right? So sometimes, now of course, I mean, you did regional because you knew that you wanted this flexibility, that you can go ahead and run your instances in any availability zone at any point of time. You wanted that flexibility, that's why you did region. All right. If you knew that in a particular availability zone you want capacity, you would have done the zonal one, right? Now that's great. Now going ahead, if you think, let's say you are a company which actually executes different POCs. You keep executing POCs, and because your director or the guy who is there at the top, he thought, one way or the other, we um, anyway end up running instances for most of the time of the year. So why not, let's go ahead and just reserve some of them, so that at least we are able to get lower pricing, right? So that's where you discussed with him and you proposed, okay, let's go ahead and do regional reservation, and after that we would be able to run in any of the availability zone in that region. I hope you're following till that point. Now when you after this you got a particular POC to be completed. Let's take the same example, a particular POC which you need to run for those 6-7 days, right? So when you want to do that, what you did, you went ahead and you did an on demand reservation in a particular availability zone, right? And you said, I'm 4x large, I'm going to run, and Linux type I'm going to run. And so what would happen, your on demand reservation would give you capacity guarantee for that 1 month, oh sorry, for that 1 week duration, 6-7 days duration. It is giving you capacity guarantee. And in addition to that, because you don't have other instances running which have used up your regional reservation thing, the from pricing perspective you will get the discount, right? Because you have done regional reservation of 4 instances, that discounts will get applied here, right? I'll just say once again. So think it like this: in your account there are no instances running, that way it will be simpler for you. In your account there are no instances running, you have done a regional reservation of 4 instances for 1 year. Now you go ahead and you are running 4 instances with on-demand reservation. Now, see, you can run without on-demand reservation as well, no problem, right? But then you do not get any capacity guarantee. It might happen that you started instances on Monday and those were running till Wednesday. After that, you shut it down or you terminate because of some reason. You try to launch again, there's no capacity available, gone, right? You don't have access to instances anymore, or you cannot launch it anymore. That's the problem. So that is where that gap which was there is now being filled by on-demand reservation. So if you know that I'm going to do this POC for 7 days, you go ahead and do on-demand reservation for 7 days. You have regional reservation already to cover the discount, right? Cover the discount part, and that's where it comes together. Are you guys following it? Please type in the chat window for me to understand. So basically, we can combine both reservation and get discount and availability. Yes, that's correct, Ravi. Yep. All right. So I hope some of you are getting it. Some of you are not typing, so it's okay. Uh, Not sure if you have doubts, you can ask me. I'll try to explain that, or you can write later on. If you want to read, go ahead and read further, and later on the same page where you are watching this video, you can go ahead and type in the chat, in the comments as well at the bottom, and I'll try to reply that. If you go ahead and look at our videos, you would know that I try to reply a lot of questions. Uh, for most of the comments do get answered, right? That's I've tried to do that. All right. Standard and convertible, very simple. Standard are those where you do not, standard reservation is the one where you cannot go ahead and change the term basically and change the instance type, whereas convertible is one where you can do. That's all. You have a standard and convertible available for both zonal and reservation types. You have this option available. So let me show you here. If you say purchase reserved, you can select all of these things. Um, in offering class, you can see convertible and standard. I've explained it in a lot more detail in one of the videos. Quick thing to understand is standard is just fixed. You go ahead and reserve today, you cannot do any changes. Convertible is after a certain period, you may go ahead and say, okay, I reserved for M4 large instances, but I feel that I need C4 large instances. So you can just pay the difference as true up cost. You can pay the difference between the two, and you get upgraded, or your thing gets changed to the new instance class. You can do that. So you can change the instance type, you can change the instance type. Yeah, you can change the instance type. That's the thing. Yep. All right, great. Let me uh, go back here. Harish is asking, I've reserved 10 instances for 1 year, but I've not utilized 10 instances, only 5 instances for 5 months. Will I be charged for all the 10 instances for 1 year as reserved already? Yes, whenever you reserve, you get charged for the full thing, right? That's there, Harish. So a similar situation I can put, for example, um, let's say for a moment, think that there is no regional reservation, right? You just go ahead and you do an on-demand reservation saying that I am reserving 5 instances for 1 month. An example, 5 instances for 1 month, right? On-demand reservation. But because of some reason, you did not launch 5 instances. You launched lesser. You launched 3 or 4 only, right? For example. But because you are reserving all 5, right? The capacity for that is actually reserved for you. Understand that. And hence you are charged. You are charged for all the 5 instances for 1 month. So please understand, it's options are given to us, but then as architects, as knowledgeable people, we have to also understand that how can we go ahead and utilize it. So knowing these finer details, that's very important, uh, guys. Yeah, Ravi, what you can sell is only it's not on-demand reservation which you can sell. You can sell the reservation which you do for 1 year or 3 years. Those you can go ahead and sell, right? Okay, few quick minutes on spot instances. So I hope you guys know about spot instances already. So within spot instances, they've changed terminology a bit, but basically the functionality-wise things are same. So there are 3 options. You can do one-time request, you can do request and maintain, which we used to call EC2 spot fleet, that is request and maintain, and then spot block, right? In brackets, still the older name is there, right? So spot block, where you can go ahead and kind of reserve or basically block for X hours, right? So first one, this is one-time request. So you just go ahead and say, you know I'm ready to pay this much, this is my bid price, and I want a particular instance type, in which VPC, in which availability zone, and things like that. You can also choose don't and no preference, just launch it in any availability zone which has got the cheapest rate. It's important to understand that spot instance pricing, right? Spot instance pricing differs per availability zone wise. So it's not same. For example, within North Virginia, you got 6 availability zones. So the spot instance rate would be different for every availability zone, right? And if you want to make, you know, if you think about it, why is it so? Because essentially every availability zone can be mapped to an isolated data center, right, within a region, or let's say an independent data center within a region. So that way, the physically, if you see physically, the capacity is limited to every data center, right? That's where based on the capacity available and the demands coming in, the prices keep changing per availability zone. That's the logic behind that, right? uh, there are a few things you can go ahead and choose. That you can set your own maximum price, that how much you want to pay per instance per hour. Or you can also say, you can choose the default as that, the price for a spot instance, you'll be ready to pay the price for the spot instance until it breaches the on demand rates, which is kind of a logical thing, right? So that part is there, and you may choose whether you want to, spread it across different availability zones, or equally, or you may want to just choose the availability zone where the price is lowest and it just gets launched there. So That's the first one. And the second one is request and maintain. Now, the spot fleet is it's basically a really beautiful stuff where you can go ahead and say that a complete fleet should run, let's say, of 10 instances, and within 10 instances, you may say X percentage should be on demand, X percentage should be spot instance. You can do that way. Now, a very good thing which they launched with request and maintain is the interruption behavior, right? So it might happen that at certain time, your instances are running and the market price went higher. And then earlier, what used to happen, if market price goes higher, your your instances, spot instances, would be terminated, right? That was the default behavior. Now, sometime back in the fleet request or the spot fleet, they brought this interruption behavior thing. So you can go ahead and choose terminate, stop, or hibernate. So you may choose that if price goes higher, your spot instances would be stopped and they would not be terminated. So you do not lose all the data on that instance, right? It is just there. Earlier, what used to happen, we used to get a 2 minutes notice, and people used to move out all the data from the instance to some external storage. It could be an S3 bucket, it could be some database, depending on the type of data. They just move it out of the instance. Now you don't have to worry about it. Rather, if you have chosen, suppose, stop, what would happen is your instance would be just stopped. That's it. So all the data which is there on the EBS volume remains there. Again, when the instance gets started, when the pricing comes down, when the instance gets started, all the data is there on the EBS volume for you to continue. We also do have option to of hibernate. Those of you who understand hibernate, it's same like how it works on your laptop. So what happens, everything which is there in your RAM as well is written onto a file on your hard disk, right? So you can go ahead and hibernate as well. You have both the options. If you hibernate, you basically start from the same place. Your system would not go through a complete start from, a normal start would not happen. Rather, your system would resume completely from where it had stopped, right? So now you have hibernate option as well. So that's a really good thing. Last one is the spot block. You can see that it is there from 1 hour to 6 hours only. So you can go ahead and kind of block spot instances, but this blocking you can do only up to a maximum of 6 hours, and there are prices defined for that. So there won't be any interruption. That's guaranteed that in that duration, your instances would not be terminated or things like that. But understand that the money which you save in case of normal request or spot fleet, that would be a lot more. You save more money, whereas in case of spot block, you save lesser money. So the discounts would be lesser. You can go ahead and compare the pricing here on spot instance pricing page. You can go ahead and compare for Linux and Windows the different for different instance types it's given here. And in case you are looking at a spot block, you can go ahead and see for 1 hour and 6 hours how the price would be. For different durations within that, it differs accordingly, right? So of course, if you see, if you are blocking for longer duration, the charges are going to be more, right? Per hour charges are going to be more. If you are blocking for lesser duration, charges are going to be lesser, because somebody is blocking the infrastructure for you. So of course they will charge higher. you know all right, let's see some of the questions here. um, is convertible reservations applicable to downgrade my server to a smaller server as the capacity as expected is not utilized? Great question. Yes, you can do that. You can, for example, you had M4 4x large, you may convert it to M4 2x large, but understand that you would not get any money back. So, but what's possible is that, let's say you have 4 M4 4x large, right? You can go ahead and convert it into, logically, let's say 8 M4 2x large, right? So if that you do, mostly your price, the amount which you'll have to pay would be nearly nil, right? You'll not have to pay anything, but you are increasing the number of instances. So you're taking smaller instances, right, in your new reservation, but you're increasing the number of instances that you can do. So that way you don't have to pay anything more. But yes, downgrading is possible. I think your question is answered. If you have not understood, let me know. um, Ravi is asking for interrupt option price will be different, right? No, there is no different price, Ravi. Just understand that in the older type, if you have interrupt option as terminate, the instance would get terminated, and hence you would not get charged even for the EBS. If you say stop or if you say hibernate, your instance gets stopped or hibernated. So that means uh, the storage would still be getting used. So you will be charged for EBS, but there's no separate pricing for this feature of specifying stop or hibernate. Please let me know if you understand. All right. So I request you guys that if you are enjoying, if you are understanding this session, please do share this link on your social channels. I quickly wanted to show there is a training which I'm organizing. This is going to be a 32 hours online class which will happen over 4 weekends in December. All of these details are there on the YouTube community tab and also on LinkedIn. It will happen in India night timings, which would also suit US morning hours. And I've given all the details what all we are going to cover. There's going to be a lot of hands-on discussion, availability to interact, ask questions, learn things which really matter, all those doubts which just do not get answered always in the recorded sessions, right? So that's where this training is there. If you have also given some points that who should join this training. This would be different from other trainings which people offer, where you know just slides are shown and there is no practical. You do not talk about industry scenarios and things like that. This is more about talking practical stuff. So if you or any of your friends are interested, please let them know, and they may write me an email here or they can message on LinkedIn to discuss further about this. Okay, so yes, the timing is 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. India time. All these details are given in the LinkedIn. Please go ahead and visit my page, and I will also uh, I can also try to I'll just post it in the description here. It is also there on the community tab. I request you to please look at it. Okay. Any questions, guys? I'll try to answer that. We got 7, 8 more minutes, and we can try to. Let me read here. Um, Shrikant is asking, will this be complete job oriented? When you say job oriented, I will not be able to arrange any job, right? Sometimes people do ask me that as well. Sorry, but just thought of saying that. But yes, what I would be covering would be all around practical aspects. So, uh, how does a particular feature get used? That's what we'll be talking about, right? So. Many of the times people just talk about definitions, as you would have seen at many places, but I try to also explain always that how this particular feature would make sense to you, or in what scenario you would go ahead and make use of this. So I'll try to explain that way. And if please take some time and read things there. If you are ready to invest time along with this training to read and learn and do stuff which I'm going to ask, uh, then if you do all of that, surely you would be in a good position to go ahead and answer the questions in interviews, and you'd be able to do things practically. You need to make your hands dirty, that's for sure. Okay. Do we need to bid the spot in price again in case we need the instance back from Hibernate? No, Akla. See, because in case of spot fleet, what happens is uh, uh, it's like a fleet which you are asking AWS to maintain, right? So no, you don't have to submit the price again. When the price comes within that boundary, which you have said that you are ready to pay up to this X amount, when it comes within that, your instance would be started again. So that's a good thing. If you have chosen stop or hibernate, I hope that answers your question. Meaning ready to work on live projects? Yes, you should be able to. As I said, if you are doing your hands dirty, you should be able to. Can the fees be reduced? It's a bit high. Uh, Jit, I I have tried to keep it really fine. Just to give example, you can go ahead and check the the price from Simply Learn and Edureka. right? For their online batches. You can go ahead and check that, and they are they are they are at the same price, but um, the type of quality which you will get here, uh, that would be a lot better. That I can say. You can even talk to some of the people who have earlier attended the training. If you're really interested, when you write to me, I can even link you with those people who have attended the training earlier, and they will tell you that how was it, right? I can do that, but uh, but the price is fixed. That's the price. How many people in one batch? So a typical batch comprises of 20 people, 20. That would be the number of people. So try to think, guys, of all the pricing scenarios, whatever. Oh, one more thing. So we have got few minutes. So there's also sometimes confusion around um, this per second billing thing, right? So sometime back, AWS launched per second billing, but you should understand that per second billing is there only for the instance types which have operating system as Amazon Linux, right? Because for all the Linux, or for all the EC2 instances Amazon is paying, where Amazon is paying is paying an OS license cost, there it won't be possible to do per second billing. At least as of now, it is not there, right? So per second billing would be applicable if you're running Amazon Linux. Yes, you can get benefited from per second billing, and even on EBS volume, you will have per second. So that's there. Though in case of EBS, it doesn't make much sense because uh, you generally keep it if you want to keep it. You do not see hours or seconds when you want to keep it. So just wanted to say that. Um, all right. So any fast track training? Shrikant is asking. Um, one thing more is, Shrikant, that uh, real learning will take some time, and that's how this is designed. If you take 5 minutes and read through those slides completely on the LinkedIn, you will have to dedicate some time for this. And people there are a lot of fast track things, right? You can just buy a course for 700 rupees on Udemy, right? And you will get certified, right? There's so many people certified, and they write to me that I'm certified, but I do not know that how a particular concept is used, or where do we go ahead and use it. Or I know the definition, but if somebody asks me to explain, I don't know how to explain it, right? So my agenda is not to get you just certified, right? uh, if you learn, if you start using it, then the purpose is served. Doesn't matter in which country you are. I've kept the timings which would suit at least not whole world, but most of the countries. So either you are in India region, or you are there in Middle East, Gulf countries, or you are there in US or Canada. Thus the timing which is specified would suit you, right? It would suit you for for all these three time zones. Unfortunately, for Australia, New Zealand, it won't suit. So, but I'm sorry for that. But for other people, it would suit. For non-Amazon Linux instances, Sharon, it is again going to be hourly pricing as it used to be. Okay. Any last questions? I'll take that, and then we'll end it. We got 1 more minute to complete the session. I hope you got benefited. You understood how this different pricing things come together, and when what time you should go ahead and use what. Uh, I do have. Uh, Let me just show you quickly here. There are few videos. We talked about Spot Fleet. So if you want to learn the fleet thing, here is the video for this. Go ahead and look at it, so you'll understand. And I also talked about different types of reservation, right? So sometimes I'm not able to find that where have I put all the reservation things. So let me see here. Reservation. I think it is this one. Yep. All right. So anyway, guys, these are there. If you are interested, you can go ahead and this is the one. I was not scrolling enough. Okay. All right. Great. Yeah, I answered, Charan. It is going to be per hour pricing. Okay. So you can go ahead and look at all of these videos. Look at the quality, understand. If you find them helpful, go ahead and share it with your friends. And I'm trying to stitch the block thing together, guys. I've tried to do some of that, right? And hopefully I'll bring it to a better shape very soon. For example, if you look at for somebody who's getting started, I'm trying to say somebody who is doing the EC2 thing, you get started right from the basics of EC2. You understand the different tenancy models, you understand all the IP address, then ENIs, the pricing, and with the reservation, and then few features which have come. So I've tried to now start. I've started, stitching all this together, and I hope that I'll be able to complete this soon, and I'll keep sharing. So I request all of you to please subscribe to the blog as well, so that you get the updates. Of course, I never send any spam, so you are just gonna get an email only when something new is published. So no harm in subscribing. Okay. All right. And if you have not pressed the bell icon, please do that. After pressing subscribe, please press the bell icon. All right. Great. Thanks. Once again, we hope to meet again next time with another topic on AWS. Keep learning, keep doing experimentation, keep trying things out. Just don't look at the video and leave it there. Try to go ahead and do it on your own. That will give you confidence. There are things which keep changing in case of AWS every day. So it's very, very important that you try your hands there. That's very important. All right, guys, I'll stop there. Thanks for listening. Bye bye. Take care.